guys, Matt here, hope you're all good. Welcome to my channel and welcome to episode 5 in my short guitar licks series. Okay, so today's lick is in the key of E major and we're going to be highlighting notes from an E major 9 chord for the most part of the lick. And this lick focuses mostly on the alternate picking. There's a little slide in the towards the end of the phrase, and there's also some string bending. We've got a tone string bend, and we've also got some semitone string bends. Alright, so let's break it down and see what's going on. Alright, so the lick starts on the root note E. We're going to be using the 5th string on the 7th fret, and we're going to start out with a down pick. So here's your first note. Okay, so once you pick the first note E, we're going to then use an upward pick for the next note. So that's the root E, and then we're going to go to fret number 11 on the 5th string, which is G sharp. And in key of E, that's the major third. So here's what that sounds like. Okay, so we've got 2 notes there on the 5th string. Once you've done the up pick on G sharp, then you're going to move on to the 4th string and we're going to pick the note B on fret number 9. So here's what that sounds like. So here's the first 3 notes so far. Alright, so in terms of fingers, we're using the 1st finger for E. Then we're going to use the pinky, the little finger, for G sharp on fret 11. And then we're going to use the middle finger for B on the 4th string. Again, alternate picking all of those notes, so down, up, down. Here it is once more. Alright, so then we're going to move on to the 3rd string. We're going to grab the 3rd string on fret number 8. This note is D sharp, so this is the major 7th in the key of E. Here's what that sounds like. So we've just, before that we did an upstroke on B on the 4th string, so now we're going to introduce the down pick on D sharp, okay? So those 4 notes together now sound like this. So there's your E major 7 arpeggio, so root to the major 3rd, then the perfect 5th, and then the major 7th there on the 3rd string. Alright, once we've done the 3rd string there, D sharp, we're then going to go to the pinky, and we're going to grab G sharp, F sharp, on the 11th fret. So this is the 9th in the key of E, so we're now introducing that major 9th interval over the key of E. So here's what that sounds like. So altogether so far we have this. Now I'm hitting the F sharp there with a down pick on the 11th fret. Once we've done that, we're then going to go back to D sharp, should I say. So that's with the 1st finger back to fret number 8 with an up pick. Alright, so here's what we got so far if we join those notes together. Okay. Once you've done D sharp there, we're then going to go back to E, the root note, and that's going to be on fret number 9 on the 3rd string. Now I'm grabbing that with the middle finger here. Okay, so all together now we have this all the way up to the root note E on string number 3. Okay, so again I'm alternating the picking there all the way throughout, so whatever you did on the previous note, you're going to do the opposite on the next note. Alright? Okay, so once you've done the 3rd string, we're then going to move on to the 2nd string. We're going to do the same sort of pattern here as we did on string 3, so using the 1st, 2nd and pinky. We're just going to shift by 1 fret, so we're going to jump across to string 2 on fret 9. Now you're going to do the same pattern here, but we'll talk about the notes as well. So we're going to start with G sharp on the 2nd string. This is fret 9, and that's string 2. Here's what that sounds like. Alright, then we're going to go up to the pinky on fret number 12. We're going to go out and grab B. Then we're going to go back to the 1st finger, G sharp. Okay, now we're going to introduce the note A on the 2nd string. This is fret 10. Okay, so that's actually the 4th or the 11th in the key of E. So here's what that sounds like on string 2. Alright, so we're going to grab the 2nd string there on the 9th fret. That's going to actually, because of the previous note that we played, that's going to be coming in on an upstroke there. So you'd actually start, if you want to practice that by itself, it'd be up, down on the B on the 12th fret, up on the G sharp, and then you'd hit the A with a down pick. Alright, so all together we've got this up to string 2. Alright, so most of the notes so far are just outlining an E major 9 chord, but we've just added in a little 11th there using the note A. Okay, moving on to the 1st string now. So we've got another jump, but again, we're going to use the same pattern that we did on the previous 2 strings, where we're using the 1st, 2nd and pinky for this little pattern. But we're going to jump now to fret number 11. Same sort of thing again, so starting with the 1st finger, so fret 11. This note is D sharp, so we're hitting that major 7th again. Okay, then you're going to go to the pinky, and this is the 9th, so F sharp. That's on fret number 14, so you'll hit that after the 1st finger, so that'll sound like this. Once you've done the F sharp with the pinky on fret 14, go back to the 1st finger again, like we did on the previous pattern. And then that's going to finish up with the middle finger on fret 12, and that should just land on the fret 12 pretty easily, like you did on the sort of previous patterns. So those notes are D sharp on fret 11, F sharp on fret 14, back to D sharp on fret 11, and then fret number 12 for E. So those notes are exactly the same as what we played on the 3rd string back here on frets 8, 9 and 11. We're just going an octave higher. Okay, so all together up to fret 12 on the E string, this is what we've got. Alright, you could end the lick there, it sounds quite resolved, finishing on fret 12, but we're going to slide up the fretboard now and go a little bit further in, and we're going to sort of end the lick on a cool sounding note rather than just sort of landing on the root at the end. Okay, so once you pick the 12th fret on the 1st string, we're going to slide from there all the way up to fret 16, okay? So that will sound like this. Okay, we're then going to jump onto the 2nd string, that's using the middle finger by the way, sliding from 12 to 16. We're then going to jump to the 3rd finger on string number 2. Alright, so that's fret 17 on string 2, and then once we've done the 2nd string, we're then going to jump onto the 3rd string. And what we're doing there is we're outlining a little D shape, okay? So if you're familiar with your caged system across the fretboard, so all your open chord shapes around the fretboard, for example, there's a D. If you move that along 2 frets, you get to an E. If you do the same thing in the octave higher, you're basically outlining the notes in an E chord using the D shape. So hopefully you can sort of see that there as we're going up the strings. So here it is from the 12th fret going up to fret 16 and outlining that little D shape there. Okay, so a little E major arpeggio there. In terms of the picking, we're going to be sliding from the 12th fret. You'll be hitting that E there with a down pick. And we're not picking the 16th fret there, so imagine you're doing an upward pick there, but obviously you're not having to pick the note because we've done the slide up to there. So that means when we jump onto the 2nd string, fret 17, we're going to hit that with a down pick. And then on fret 16 on the 3rd string, we're going to attack that with an upstroke. You could do an up on the second string and then up on the third string if you want to, in a sort of a sweeping sort of technique, but that's just the way that I've kind of approached that little. I've kept the alternate picking going through that section. Okay, so then we're going to do a string bend after that. Oh, instantly those notes you're playing there, we're sliding up to G sharp on the first string there. The second string is E, and then you're playing B on the third string. Okay, then we're going to jump onto the first string and we're going to do a tone bend. So we're going to grab the 17th fret and we're going to bend all the way up to 19. So those notes are A to B. Alright, so you're bending the 4th or the 11th up to the perfect 5th. So here's what that sounds like from the slide going into that string bend on the first string. Now sometimes I might do a rake into that bend. If you're not sure what a rake is, basically you're picking the strings above the one you're about to bend, but they're all muted, so I'm using mostly the right hand for that to get that sort of effect. Here it is again. So it's just that sound that you get leading into the bend. You don't have to do that, it's just something I tend to add in quite a lot when I'm string bending. Alright, once you've done the bend, we're then going to drop that, we're going to release it back down to 17, okay, like this. Alright, so bringing it back down, make sure you keep the pressure. If you lose the pressure on the string when you're releasing the bend, you may end up losing the note on the way back down and things will just go silent. So keep the pressure down and then you'll hear the bend coming back out. Following on from the bend, we're then going to grab G sharp with the middle finger and we're going to introduce a little semitone bend here. So we're going to bend from 16 up to 17 with the middle finger and then back to 16. Now, because it's only a semitone bend, you can get away with using one finger for this. So as I'm doing here, I'm just using the second finger to do the bend from 16 up to 17 and then back down to 16. So here's that again. Okay, so let's join all of those notes together from the 12th fret and just show you what's going on there, linking those notes together. So here it is from the slide. Alright, if you want to just practice going from the slide there, that would actually be with the down pick, sliding up to fret 16 and then your down pick on the second string. Okay, so once you've done that little semitone bend on the first string from 16 to 17 back to 16, we're then going to grab the second string again on fret 17. We're going to pick that note one time. Okay, you can grab that note with an upstroke or a downstroke, doesn't really matter to be honest. But then we're going to drop down to fret number 16 on the B string. So that's the 17th fret, by the way, is the note E. When you drop down, you're going to drop down to D sharp, so you're highlighting the major 7th. And we're going to do a semitone bend here as well. So just lift the D sharp back up to the sound of E, so 16 to 17. And then release back to 16. And then I'm going to re-pick that note again, D sharp on the fret 16. Okay, so from the second string again, here's what that sounds like. And then we're going to add some vibrato onto that note at the end there. You can make your vibrato nice and subtle, or you can sort of give more movement to the note by creating a more wider vibrato, something like this. I'm going to go for the more subtle vibrato, so it just keeps things nice and sweet. So here's all of that together from the slide on the 12th fret, and then I'll go back and link the whole thing together for you. Alright, let's now link all of the notes together and see what that sounds like from the beginning. Here it is up to speed. So as well as playing these notes over the E major backing track, you can also play these notes over an A major chord. So A major is the fourth chord from the key of E, and this will give you the Lydian sound, which is the fourth mode of the major scale. So here's what that sounds like over an A major chord playing the exact same notes. So what I'll do now is I'll play the lick over different tempos, and we'll start off with 80 BPM, and then we'll increase that to 90 BPM, and then we'll go to 100 BPM. And then at the very end of the video, I'll leave in an instrumental version of the backing track, and you can practice over the top of that. Well, that's the end of the lick, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button, check out some of the other videos I've already done, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.